Hello. Now that we're in the cold winter months, anyone with a recessed wall heater is probably wondering, when am I going to get this thing fixed? Well, if it's a bad motor, it could be pretty easy. In this video, I'm going to show you how to repair it, at least in my case. Remember to be careful, and if you're not comfortable working with electricity, have someone else do it. It's not worth getting hurt. The electric wall heater model we're looking at today is the Dayton 2E455 from the early 80s. It's been since discontinued, and there aren't any modern equivalents that fit in the same space. That's why I'm taking a look at fixing it today. Here I am in front of the unit. What you might notice is it has very simple controls. It just has this knob that you can turn that sets how hot the room will get. It has a thermostat built into it, so it'll know when to shut off. Turn the heater on all the way, then turn the breaker off. This will make the fan stop spinning, but just to be sure, turn it back on and make sure the unit comes back on. Reason being, the thermostat can sometimes turn the fan off when the temperature is reached. We just want to make sure that it's not a coincidence. Yep, that's the right circuit. Now we can get to work. Now you want to be careful with this because the heater can still be really hot even from just testing it for a few minutes. Here we are with a closer view. Now just take this knob off. Now get your Phillips P2 screwdriver and remove these 4 screws. Whoops, looks like we have a problem on this side. I don't have a stubby, so let's see. Let's use an offset screwdriver. Right here. Now, they're kind of a pain to use, but this was really the only thing I had at the time for this. Well, I never said it was the best tool in the world. Now that these 4 screws are removed, let's take off the front cover. It might require a little persuasion. You can usually identify these things with a sticker or some kind of label. If you're replacing the unit altogether, this is a good thing to refer to. Now let's take the heater assembly out of the frame. 2 screws up here, 2 screws down there. Wait, wasn't it the other way around? Now you can pull this whole thing out. But before that, there's a little retention clip on the left side. As you can see, I just found it right now. You need to push it away from the stud, and the whole thing lifts right out. Let's just rest it like that. It should be fine on the wires. Now that we have a close-up here, you can see the motor and the wires on each side. You might want to take a picture or at least write down where they go, because sometimes there's empty terminals. One goes to the thermostat over here. This is the heater. You want to be careful. This could be hot. Apparently it wasn't here. Let's take the contact off on that side. And the one on this side. Sometimes they can be difficult to take off. Now you can either use a nut driver, a socket, or just a wrench. to take these nuts off. This holds the motor to the frame and don't forget the lock washers. That's going to prevent this whole thing from falling off from vibration eventually. Let's take this off the frame since it's completely disconnected now. Turning it around for a better view. Okay, here's the fan. Now we need to take this whole thing out. But there's actually some wire routing guides here. They're kind of a pain in the butt. They might be actually crimped closed. Let's try to pry it. Here's what the fan motor assembly looks like on the bench. And here's another view. We need to get the set screw off of the shaft so we can remove the fan. That will go on the new motor. Let's use the offset screwdriver to do this. And here it is. Put it to the side. Now we need to take the fan blade off of the shaft. This is proving to be difficult. I guess we can take this opportunity to do a motor teardown. Well, it looks like I could get the blade off. But let's do a motor teardown anyway. There are two screws here that hold the frame together. The inside part is called the rotor. This has a permanent magnet. And you can see the shaft connects through bearings so that it can rotate smoothly. The rotor goes inside of the stator, and the stator produces the magnetic field that make the rotor spin. This is very simply put. Make sure to compare the new and old motors to ensure compatibility. They should have exact same specs. Before we install the new motor, make sure the orientation is correct. You want the windings facing up, not down. Heat can actually degrade these components and cause them to have a shorter life. When in doubt, install it exactly the same way as you found it. Here's another view from the back. I think it's easier to see. And don't forget those lock washers. Let's tighten one up by hand first. And where's that other lock washer? Remember how I told you how they're important? Well, okay, I found it. Let's tighten the other one. And tighten them with the pliers. Okay, wiring time. Remember how we have those channels? I think it's easier to just feed the spade terminal right through it instead of trying to bend the clip. Well, I said it was easier. And here's the thermostat and the heater. The cool thing about the thermostat is when the unit wants to turn off, the thermostat measures the temperature of the heater to see if it's cooled down enough. If it hasn't, it'll keep the fan motor spinning until it's cooled down. So now we're going to put the fan back on. Make sure to keep the balancer clip wherever it was. It'll prevent it from wobbling around. So just slide it onto the shaft. And get your set screw and put it in place. Now put the blade back on the shaft. But first, make sure that set screw is lined up with the flat spot on the shaft. Now take your offset screwdriver and tighten it. Crank up the heater, then go over to the breaker and turn it on. All that's left to do is button things up and enjoy your work. Thanks for watching. I hope this is going to keep some of you guys warm this winter. If you liked the video, make sure to like it and leave a comment. And if you really like my channel, consider subscribing.